So in the last class we have seen the output equation of transformer, especially single phase transformer. So today we will go through the output equation of three phase transformer and the output equation in terms of EMF per turn and other design aspects. Okay. So output equation of three phase transformer. Output equation of three phase transformer. We generally see three phase core type transformer because three phase shell type transformers are very rarely used. Unless with certain specific applications, we don't go for generally three phase shell type transformers. Okay. So three phase core type transformer will be having three cores, three limbs upon which both primary and secondary are placed on the same limb. So this is the frame of three phase core type transformer. So this is the diameter of circumcircle. So let this be R phase. So this is primary, secondary, Y phase. B phase, primary and secondary. Okay. So this is the diameter of circumcircle. And this is the distance between core centers. This is the distance between core centers. Okay. So phase 1 primary secondary, phase 2 primary secondary, phase 3 primary secondary. So 6 terminals of 3 phases are available for me to connect with the entire 3 phase winding in star or delta. Primary may be star, secondary may be delta, primary may be star, secondary may be star, primary may be delta, secondary may be delta, primary may be delta, secondary may be star. Okay, and delta. So with these combinations I can connect the 3 phase transformer depending upon my application. Okay. So generally distribution transformers are connected with star on the secondary and power transformers are connected with delta on the secondary. Okay. If you take the first power transformer immediately after the generating station, primary is connected in star, secondary is connected in delta. If you take the distribution transformer at the load center, primary may be connected in star or delta, but secondary will be compulsorily connected in the star because I have to get it from 415 to 230 volts. So that has to be connected in star only. Okay. So now here in single phase transformer we saw in each window there will be one primary winding, one secondary winding. But whereas in three phase transformer, in each window there will be two primary windings and two secondary windings. Okay, you can see here primary of R phase, secondary of R phase, primary of Y phase, secondary of Y phase. So there are two primary windings and two secondary windings in first window. primary of Y phase and primary of B phase, secondary of Y phase and secondary of B phase. So there are two secondary windings in second window. Sorry, there are two primary windings in secondary window, two secondary windings in second window. Okay. So in each window, the number of primary and secondary coils are 2. So there will be 2 primary windings and 2 secondary windings. Okay. So accordingly, I should be considering what will be the weight of copper in that window. Okay. So in each window, in 3-phase transformer, in each window, we have 2 primary and 2 secondary windings. Am I not audible? Hello, am I not audible? Now am I audible? Okay. So in each window we have 2 primary and 2 secondary windings. Okay. So therefore, copper area in window in each window, therefore copper area in window AC is equals to, we know already, copper area in primary is given by cross section of the copper multiplied by number of turns of copper. Okay. So I can write A1 T1 directly, I will write because we have seen this already, and this is the part of output equation derivation only, it is not separately. Okay. Generally when it is asked to find the output equation of transformer, if it is not mentioned whether single phase or 3 phase, you should be deriving it for both for single phase and as well as 3 phase. So A1 T1 plus A2 T2. So A1 T1 is the total copper area of primary in window, and A2 T2 is the total secondary copper area of secondary winding in window. Okay. So A1 T1 is equals to copper area of R phase plus copper area of B phase plus copper area of C phase. Okay, 1 second. No, sorry, this is per phase. This is per phase. Copper area of per phase primary, copper area of per phase secondary. Okay, but we have 2 windows. It should be multiplied by 2. So total area of copper in the window, okay, there are 2 primary windings and 2 secondary windings. Okay. So copper area in each window, is 2 primary plus 2 secondary. So 2 A1 T1 plus 2 A2 T2 in each window. Okay. Here A1 is equals to I1 by delta and A2 is equals to I2 by delta. Okay. Therefore AC is equals to 2 into I1 T1 by delta plus I2 T2 by delta. Okay. Neglecting magnetizing ampere turns. I have I1 T1 is equals to I2 T2 is equals to I into T. So that will be equals to AC is equals to 2 into IT divided by delta, or 4IT divided by delta. AC is equals to 4 into IT divided by delta. Or IT is equals to, or IT is equals to, or before that. Okay, therefore window space factor KW is equals to AC divided by AW. KW is equals to AC divided by AW, or AC is equals to AW into KW, and AC is, and this gives 4 into IT divided by delta is equals to AW KW, or IT is equals to 1 by 4 AW KW into delta. 1 by 4 AW KW into delta. Now, the kVA rating of three-phase transformer. Okay, kVA rating of three-phase transformer is Q is equals to 3 E1 I1 into 10 to the power minus 3 kVA. Okay, so E1 is per phase voltage, and I1, or you can take V1, 3 V1 I1 into 10 to the power minus 3, where V1 is voltage per phase, I1 is current per phase. Okay, so V1 I1 gives us the volt amperes per phase multiplied by 3 phase, because power is a scalar. So any number of phases I have multiplied by the number of phases to the per phase power, I will get 3 phase power or 2 phase power or total phase power. Okay, now let V1 is equals to E1, let V1 is equals to E1. Okay, I will therefore E1 is equals to, or here only I write, E1 is equals to 4.44 F phi m into T1, or 4.44 F Bm AI into T1. Okay, therefore Q is equals to 3 into 4.44 F Bm AI T1 I1 into 10 to the power minus 3. Q is equals to, so I1 T1 is equals to, I have 1 by 4 AW KW into delta, and E1 is equals to, already has been substituted. Okay, so therefore it will be 3 into 4.44 F Bm AI into I1 T1 is 1 by 4 AW KW delta into 10 to the power minus 3. So this 4 and this 4.44 will cancel, and Q is equals to, I will get 3.33 F Bm AI AW KW delta into 10 to the power minus 3 kVA. So this is the output equation of three-phase transformer. Output equation of single phase is 2.22, Output equation of 3 phase is 3.33. Rest all things will remain same. Okay, because I am taking all other values as per phase and per window. Okay, so this AW KW is per phase, per window, copper area. Okay, so what will happen in 3 phase is simply there is an addition of one window. Okay, it is addition of one 2.22 FBM so on plus 1 into FBM AI AW KW delta. So 2.22 plus 1 3.33. 1.11 plus that is 3.33. So that is the only change. Okay. So 2.22 FBM AI AW KW delta 10 to the power minus 3 is for single phase output equation. 3.33 FBM AI AW KW delta into 10 to the power minus 3 is for 3 phase output equation. Okay. So next we will take output equation and EMF per turn. Like I told, either I should be suitably assuming the EMF per turn at the start of the design, or I should be calculating EMF per turn with respect to the KVA rating and other parameters which are directly affecting on the design. Okay, so therefore we should be seeing a relation between output and the EMF per turn. I simply cannot assume EMF per turn arbitrarily. Okay, so EMF per turns are to be assumed based on certain assumptions, or it has to be calculated as per the equation given, or as per the equation what we are going to see here. So you can say, take output equation and EMF per turn. So Q is equals to, I can write E for single phase. Okay, let us take for single phase. Because EMF per turn will be always taken per phase, on per phase basis. Okay. So for single phase, Q is equals to E into I into 10 to the power minus 3 kVA. AI into 10 to the power minus 3 kVA, or I can write 4.44 F phi m into T into I into 10 to the power minus 3 kVA. Okay, so here when I see the output Q, it depends on two factors. Okay, actually three factors. One is frequency, the flux, and the ampere turns. Okay, the frequency is a specification for the design, because frequency is always a constant for any supply system. Okay, so for a given supply system, a frequency is a specification which will be a constant. Now the output Q is depending upon phi m and ampere turns. The output is completely depending upon the phi m and ampere turns. Okay. Now, but how these phi m and ampere turns are deciding the output? See, this is the fundamental equation of output. Okay. But when I saw the output equation, okay, if you see the output equation, Q is equals to 2.22 F Bm into AI, okay, into AW KW delta into 10 to the power minus 3. So in place of phi m, I placed Bm into AI. In place of ampere turns IT, I placed AW KW delta. Okay. So AW KW, I will rewrite it as AC into delta. The time being to understand. So what we observe here is the flux phi m okay, is mentioned in the design equation or output equation in terms of core area, and the ampere turns IT is mentioned in the output equation in terms of copper area. Why these are mentioned like this? We have derived that. We have seen so and so, that is the mathematical and analytical derivation. But when we have to interpret it physically or electrically, you can see here that the flux phi m is the factor or is the quantity that decides the core area. Flux phi m decides the core area. Ampere turns IT decides the copper area. Okay? Flux phi m decides the core area and ampere turn IT decide the copper area. Now if you see this equation Q, okay, 4.44 is a constant. Frequency apparently will remain constant because it is based on the supply system. 10 to the power minus 3 is a constant. I can say Q is proportional to phi m into IT. Q is proportional to phi m into IT. Now we know that Q is a constant because it is the power output, which is the prime input for the design. Output power is the prime input to the design. That is the specification. That is the first specification that we get to start with the design. So I observe that Q remains constant. Phi m into IT, the product should remain constant. Okay, phi m into IT, the product should remain constant. So when the product will remain constant, the ratio of these two will also remain constant because they will always vary inversely. If phi m increases, IT decreases. If phi m decreases, IT increases, because the product of phi m and IT should give a constant value. Therefore, the ratio of phi m to IT will remain constant. The ratio of phi m to IT will remain constant. Okay, so please don't forget that the flux is deciding the core area. Flux is the function of core area. Ampere turns is deciding the copper area. We can see the substitution in the previous two derivations what we had done. Okay, so therefore, and from this output equation we can see that the output is only depending upon the product phi m and IT, flux and ampere turns. So the product of flux and ampere turns has to be remain constant. It should remain constant. If these two have to, if the product has to remain constant, then the ratio will also remain constant. Okay, so I will take the constant ratio of phi m to IT. Okay. Here, let the ratio phi m upon IT is equals to R. Let the ratio phi m upon IT is equals to R, and this will be a constant. Okay, this will be a constant for any given type of the transformer, for any given service conditions of the transformer. Okay, for any given service conditions and type of the transformer, my ratio of flux to ampere turns will remain constant. Okay, or IT is equals to phi m upon R. You take this as equation 1. Therefore, equation 1 gives Q is equals to 4.44 F phi m into phi m upon R into 10 to the power minus 3 kV. In place of IT, I am placing phi m upon R. Okay. Or phi m is equals to, or phi m is equals to, or phi m square is equals to Q into R into 10 to the power 3. This minus 3 will go to that side and become plus 3. 10 to the power 3 divided by 4.44 into F. Okay. 4.44 into F. Or I can write phi m is equals to, flux phi m is equals to, or here only I will write phi m square is this, phi m will be under root this value. I will rewrite this as under root R into 10 to the power 3 divided by 4.44 F into root Q. I will take root Q outside. Okay. Okay. So the equation of EMF per turn is given by EMF per turn is given by ET is equals to 4.44 F phi into T will not get because it is EMF per turn, 4.44 F phi m. So this you take it as equation 2. Substitute equation 2 in ET. Substitute equation 2 in ET. We get ET is equals to 4.44 F. In place of phi m, it will be under root R into 10 to the power 3 divided by 4.44 F into root Q. Okay. So 4.44 F divided by root 4.44 F. In the numerator, we will get 1 root 4.44 F. Therefore, ET is equals to under root 4.44 F into R into 10 to the power 3 into root Q. Okay. Or ET is equals to K into root Q. And please note, this K is not transformation ratio. This K is not the transformation ratio. Transformation ratio is also mentioned as K, but this K is not transformation ratio. Okay, where K is equals to okay, under root 4.44 F into 10 to the power 4.44 F into R into 10 to the power 3. 4.44 F into R into 10 to the power 3. Okay, where R is phi m upon IT, and this ratio will be very small because the value of flux will be in milliwebers and the value of IT will be thousands of ampere turns. Okay, my flux will be in milliwebers and the value of ampere turns will be in thousands. Therefore, this ratio will be in microns. We will get 10 to the power minus 5, minus 6, minus 7 like that. So this ratio is very small. Okay. So this is the relation between EMF per turn and output equation. Once I know the ratio of flux to ampere turns, I can find what is the value of ET. Else, you will be given with the value of ET in directly the statement. Okay, but we cannot assume the EMF per turn unless and until either it is given or it has to be calculated. So EMF per turn is the first step for my design. Without that, I can't find the number of turns. I know the voltage. I should know the number of turns. Okay, so therefore EMF per turns is obtained from this equation ET. Okay. So there are various values for this K. We will see that. Type of transformer and the value of K. So for single phase core type, it is 0.75 to 0.85. Single phase shell type, it is 1.0 to 1.2. For three phase core power, transformer 0.6 to 0.7. For three phase core distribution, .45. Three phase shell 1.3. So these are the values of K that can be chosen if nothing is given to calculate the value of ET. Okay. Then we have one derivation, relation between core area and weight of iron and copper. Okay. It is there in the notes. I will leave that derivation for you as an assignment. Okay. It is there in the notes. I will leave that as an assignment for you. Okay. It is on page number 6, chapter 3, page number 6 in my notes. Okay. So that part will be an assignment for you people, the derivation. Okay. So in the next assignment list what I give, that will be including this question. So keep it in mind, this is an assignment question. Okay. So next we will go to design of core. Okay. Design of core. So what design of core consists is, say for we have the output equation Q is equals to, I will take on this side, Q is equals to, I have 2.22 F BM AI AW KW delta into 10 to the power minus 3, okay, kVA. Unless and until I know all these quantities in the output equation, I cannot go for the design. So now I got the output equation. I should be now looking into how to get the relations of each of the quantity what is there mentioned in the output equation. Because everything has to be in terms of the given specifications. Okay, all those things should be in terms of given specifications. So with respect to this aspect, it was easy in my rotating machines because we knew by default all the rotating machines are cylindrical. So I had to find the diameter and the length. Okay, I have to find the diameter and the length. But here that is not the question. The core area AI completely depends upon what shape of core cross section I will be using. Okay, so this appears as a core. Say for example, this is a core. Okay, this is the length of or height of the core. But what is the cross section of the core? Am I using a square section? Am I using a rectangular section? Am I using a circular section? Or am I using a stepped core? If I am using any of the section, whether circular, square, rectangular, stepped, okay, what is the reason for which I use? Okay, so when I have to choose the cross section of the core, okay, I should keep it in mind of one aspect. Now this is the cross section of the core. Okay, these are the laminations what we will get to see when you see the core cross section. Now this is circumscribing circle. Okay, so what thing I should be keeping in my mind while choosing the cross section of the core, shape of the core, is the area of circumscribing circle should be fully utilized. The area of circumscribing circle should be fully utilized by the core cross section. Okay, why it has to be fully utilized? Because this is the core, this is the circumcircle formed by either the insulator paper or by the former, a solid former. The winding will come above this. So this is the winding. This is the winding. Now if the area of circumcircle is not fully utilized, then there will exist a large amount of space filled with air, which will increase the leakage flux of the transformer. So whatever the flux I am creating in the core by the primary ampere turns or magnetizing ampere turns, not all the flux that is created will link to the winding, because unless and until it will link to the winding, there can't be an induction. Okay, the flux has to link to the winding. Now if there is large air space between the core sides and the winding turns, then there will be a large amount of leakage flux existing in the air itself. So I should be having always an attempt to cover this circumcircle by the core section. With this, the ideal core section is circular, because if I use circular core section, okay, my core will be of circular structure, a solid cylinder made up of laminations. Complete area of circumcircle is filled with the core. No gap is obtained. But it is very difficult to get the circular section core. If the core was supposed to be made up by a solid material, it was extremely easy to get the circular section core. But since the core is made up of laminations, it is difficult to have the exact circular section of the core by stacking all the laminations, because each lamination will form the chord of a circle. If I take the circular section core, okay, each lamination will form the chord of a circle. So what I should do here is, if I have to get the circular section core, I should fabricate the laminations of various sizes. I should fabricate the laminations of various sizes only for this particular transformer. That is the biggest disadvantage. Only for this particular transformer, I have to fabricate the laminations of various widths. And if the transformer size changes, lamination size changes. So it is extremely difficult to achieve, one thing. Second, it is very costly, because labor work will be more, material wastage will be more, therefore cost of the core will be more. So economy get hampered here. no doubt performance will be the best because there is no leakage. So upon this there will be a insulation, upon this there will be a winding. So the ideal section expected is circular. Okay, ideal cross section expected is circular, but it is difficult to achieve practically. Hence, practically we don't go for circular core. So what we do here in the design of core segment is, I relate the usage of each section of the core, whether it is rectangle, whether it is square, whether it is stepped. Okay, I will relate to the circular cross section area and I will obtain a relation, okay, with respect to the circular cross section area, because circular cross section is the maximum utilization area of the circumcircle. So what I am finding here is how much area of the core is utilized in a circumcircle. In the area of what is area of circumcircle? Okay, it is pi d square by 4. This is the area of diameter of circumcircle is small d. So pi d square by 4 is the area of circumcircle. Out of this area of circumcircle, what percentage of the core area is utilized? Maximum the utilization, better will be the performance. Because maximum the utilization, minimum will be the ampere turns, magnetizing ampere turns. Therefore, with various shapes of the core sections, I will be now looking into what type of core is best suited for me for a given type of transformer, okay, and with respect to the utilization of the area of circumcircle. Okay, so first we will see rectangular shape. First is rectangular shaped core. So here I am talking with respect to the cross section, not this. Okay, if this is the height of the core, I will be placing the winding surrounding this, and cross section of the core is this surface. Okay, the top surface what we see from the top view. Now the rectangular core will be this, and this is made up of laminations. The advantage of rectangular core is that I can have the uniform shaped laminations. I don't need different shaped laminations here, so the cost will be much less. The other aspects we will see. Okay. Upon that there will be an insulation. Don't forget that whenever I place the winding upon the core, it will be always placed after placing the insulation. I can't place and I don't place winding directly on the core. Okay, there will be an insulation. Now if I have this insulation, okay, now if I want to go for the circumscribing circle for a rectangular core, it is difficult to get circumscribing circle. Okay, even if I get it, it will be very large. Now if I will take a circumscribing circle here for this shape, what will be the circumcircle? So this is the core. See the air gap in the circumcircle. Large amount of space is wasted. So what I will do, I don't use circumcircle, I don't use former. Now if I place the winding directly upon the rectangular core by placing an insulation, what will happen we will see. I will not use a former which forms the circumcircle. I will directly place the winding upon this. Okay, so this is the thickness of the coil. So when I wind the coil, it gives certain thickness. Okay. So the hatched path gives the thickness of the coil. Okay, so this is winding. This is width of the core. Okay, A small. The notation is A only. We will get to see later. Now this is winding. Now what is the problem with this kind of arrangement is when the number of turns per limb will be more. Okay, for a large transformer, I should be placing large number of turns on each limb. Then the inner turns, you can observe here at 4 edges, there is a sharp bending of the turns which are near to the core section. Okay, at these 4 corners, okay, the number of turns what are placed very near to the core, and this is not only at the top, it will be throughout the height of the core. If this is the height of the core, throughout the height of the core, the winding will experience a sharp bending on each 4 edges, okay, which will have a large mechanical stress on those windings, and because of that there may be a physical damage caused to the conductor insulation, and also there may be physical damage caused to the conductor itself. Now there is a possibility that conductor may get cut here, or the insulation may get damaged. Okay, if there is a physical contact between 2 turns, then we call it as inter-turn faults. There will be a short circuit between 2 turns. So please don't think that when I place the number of turns, I will take slightly a large figure. So this is the way I place, and I get a core inside this. Okay. Each conductor, this entire length of wire is coated with an insulator. We use enamel insulation. Okay, we use enamel insulation. If the wire is of red wine color, you know copper color. What is the color of the copper? Okay, it is shining brownish. If you see a wire which is of red wine color, then that is a insulation coated wire, or the wire insulation may be a paper insulation in case of the large transformers. So each turn is isolated physically from its neighboring turn, and when I have to place all the number of turns on a core, the turns are placed one above the other, one beside the other. They are very close, very close. There is no physical space between the turns. In such case, if the insulation of the conductor fails because of this large mechanical stresses at the edges, then there is a tendency of short circuit between the turns. There is a tendency of short circuit between the turns. And in between those 2 turns, when there is short circuit, the voltage becomes 0, because across short circuit voltage is 0. With this, what happens? The condition of short circuit starts spreading in the entire winding structure. So over a period of time, the major part of the winding may experience short circuit, and that may create a large fault in the transformer. Okay, therefore the winding insulation or the coil insulation or the conductor insulation is extremely important for me in case of transformer. So if I use the cross section which is of rectangular in shape, I face this problem of insulation breakdown. Sometimes the conductor itself may break, that will create an open circuit. Okay, so therefore it is not practically feasible for me to go for a rectangular section core. Okay, the second is circular section. I told circular section is ideally expected. circular section core. Okay. So this is D, diameter of circumcircle. I will place a insulation, coil insulation, and upon that I will place winding. Okay, so this is winding. Okay, so I can go for the circular section because it gives me an ideal shape where the turns will not experience any mechanical stress at any edges because the curvature is uniform. So the health of the winding will be very good with respect to when I use the circular section. Now what is the area of core? Gross area, this is D. This is D. Gross area of core AGI is equals to pi d square by 4. Okay, pi d square by 4, and which is nothing but the area of circumcircle. Okay, this is nothing but the area of circumcircle. Area of circumcircle. Now what is net area? AI is equals to 0.9 into AGI, where 0.9 is stacking factor. We know between every two lamination there is an insulation inside it. Between every two lamination there is an insulation. Okay, if I take out the area of insulation, that is stacking factor. What is stacking factor? It is net area to gross area, the ratio of net area to gross area. So if I multiply stacking factor to the gross area, I get the net area. So area of utilization of the core is 90% of that depends upon stacking factor. If the stacking factor is 0.95, area of utilization is 95%. Okay, so circular cross section gives me the ideal shape of the core, but I discussed already, it is very difficult to get the different shaped laminations and stack them. Even if I get different shaped laminations, it is difficult for stacking me up. Okay, because I should be stacking up incrementally with respect to the width of the each lamination. Okay, so it makes extremely difficult. Even if I want to do this, this will be costly. Okay, the cost of the core increases. Therefore, practically it is difficult for me to use this for large transformers. For medium transformers, I can still think of using the circular section core, but for large transformers, it is difficult. Okay, so these are the two shapes of the core. In the next class, we will be discussing about the square section and stepped sections. Okay, if I use multiple steps and why we use steps and all. Okay, so we'll finish the class with respect to today's contents. In the next class, we will go for another two sections and then we will move to the design.